Okay, so coming to artificial neural network, first we will see what is artificial neural network. If you consider our artificial neural network, it is more or less similar to the way in which our human brain is working. Our human brain contains billions of neurons, and every neuron is connected to each other so that it will form a network. And once you see a picture, for example, if I give you a picture, you can easily identify what is the object in that picture. How it is possible? How your brain has been trained to identify that. The same principle is used for artificial neural network. And our brain contains so many densely interconnected network of neurons. It contains around 10 power 11 to 10 power 12 neurons. And on the average, every neuron is connected to 10 power 4 to 10 power 5 other neurons. So you can identify what is the complexity of our neural network. Okay, there are so many interconnections among the neurons. Because of that only, whatever object we are seeing, we are able to identify everything very minutely. Otherwise, it is not possible. Okay, and this is a base for this artificial neural network. So we can say that artificial neural network is a computational network, and that is based upon the biological neural network, which is the main formation for our human brain. And similar to the human brain, which has neurons interconnected to each other, the artificial neural network also have neurons that are connected to each other. And we just understand what are the components of our biological neuron, then we will see how it is connected to ANN. If you consider the biological neuron, we have things like, I have listed only the important things. We have dendrite. Dendrite is nothing but this part. This is going to receive signal from other neurons. We have so many neurons in our network. So here, dendrites are going to receive signals from other neurons. Then we have something called as cell body or otherwise soma. And this is responsible for doing all the processing. So whatever signals we get, it has to do the processing to identify the objects. So that is done in the soma only. Then it is going to sum various signals that it has been received from dendrite. Okay, and when the sum of the signals reaches a particular threshold value, then that particular neuron get fire and then it transmits the signal. Okay, the firing of the neurons is very important. It's nothing but sending the signal. I have to decide when I have to send a signal. So for that, there is a threshold value. You receive the input from everything, collect all the input, find the sum of it, then check whether the sum of that is greater than the threshold. If so, the neuron is going to fire and transmit the signal. Now, who is going to send the signal? The neuron is generating the signal, but we need something to transmit the signal. For that only, we have the axons. So axons are going to transmit signal to other neurons. Then we have synapses. It's nothing but connection between the axon and then other neuron dendrite. Because this is the output, it should be given as input to the other dendrite. So the same process will be continuing so that we will have so many interconnections. So these are all the various components of biological neuron. Now let us see how this is related to our artificial neural network. So if you consider the parallel diagram I have drawn here, this is our artificial neural network, one perceptron, one neuron. I can say this is a structure of one neuron. Similarly, you have so many neurons in artificial neural network. I am considering the structure of one single neuron only. So if you consider this, we have dendrite here. So what is the use of the dendrite? That is going to provide you the input. For in ANN, similar to the dendrite, we have X1, X2, etc. up to Xn. That is nothing but our input. So I can say that in biological neural network, dendrite is similar to in artificial neural network input. Okay, so it's nothing but dendrites are equivalent to X1, X2, etc. up to Xn. After that, here we have various weight values. Okay, so the weight values are now connected to the synapse. Okay, so weight value is nothing but for every input, you're not going to give equal importance. For example, I want to identify one object. The object may be having so many features. For example, I want to identify my face. In my face, I have eyes, then nose, ears, and so on. So these are various features in that. And even eye is having so many features in that. So for everything, I'm going to give some weight. With the help of that only, I'm going to identify. So we have weights for every feature. For the feature X1, we have the weight as W1, X2 is W2, and so on. Then we have this soma in this. That is nothing but it is going to perform the computation. Similarly, here we have the neuron or otherwise the node. This is similar to soma. What we are doing here, you can see here summation. That means when I receive the input, I'll apply the weight value to that input. I will find the sum of all these things. Finally, I'll get the combined value. Okay, so this combined value will be now given to one function. So this function is called as activation function. So that function is going to decide when to fire the signal. Okay, for that we will have some threshold. If my sum is greater than the threshold, I'll be firing the output. Okay, then we will be getting the output that is nothing but 1. So we can now say that in our biological neural network, soma is similar to neuron or node in the ANN. Then dendrites are similar to input. Synapse are similar to the weights are the interconnections. Then axon is nothing but it is similar to the output. From every neuron, you are going to get one output that will be given as input to the next neuron and so on. So this is a single neuron structure. But if you consider our ANN, it will have many neurons with many layers. Okay, that we will see in the next class. Today we are going to focus what is going to happen in the single neuron only. So now we can say that in case of artificial neuron, we have x1, x2, etc. up to xn as the inputs. And for every input, we are going to associate with some weight. So since we have n inputs, we'll have n weights here, w1, w2, etc. wn. And we can write the net input as you have x1, multiply that by w1, likewise x2, w2, xn, wn. That is our net input. So we will write yn is equal to x1, w1 plus x2, w2 plus etc. up to xn, wn. So we will write now sigma I is equal to 1 to n xi wi. Because of that only, this is written as sigma function. We are going to sum of everything. And finally, we are going to give this signal as input to the function f. So if you see here for the function f, we are giving yn, which is nothing but the summation value. And this is going to now predict the value of the output y based upon the activation function. Okay. In case of ANN, artificial activation functions play a very important role. So the output is nothing but it depends upon the activation function. So we'll be getting the output y. Now, if you consider this perceptron, we have something called as perceptron here. So perceptron is nothing but it is a supervised learning algorithm. And this algorithm is used for generally binary classification problem. You know what is binary classification problem? In my target class, I'll have two classes. Whether a person will buy a computer or not buy a computer, or whether today I'm going to play a match or I'm not going to play a match, and so on. So we have binary classification problem. So this perceptron is a supervised learning algorithm used for binary classification problem. When you go for multi-class classification problem, we have some other thing that we will focus later. And here, the binary classifiers are going to decide whether an input represented by a vector belongs to a specific class or not. Vector is nothing but my features, input features. I may have more than one feature also. So I have a vector. So they will decide what is the output class corresponding to that particular feature. And this perceptron is nothing but it is a single layer neural network. I have given here single layer neural network, but here it consists of main parts as given here, input values. We have various inputs. Then we have various weights. Sometimes we will have bias also. I'll tell you what is bias in the next slide. Then we will get the net sum. Then we have the activation function f. Finally, we have the output y. So these are all the main parts of the perceptron. Now, how this perceptron is going to work? I already told you. Let me summarize again. So this perceptron is going to take all the input values and multiply the values with the weight function. After that, it is going to add all the multiplied values together to create the weighted sum. So this is a weighted sum. In this equation, if you see, I have added one more term called W naught. So what is this W naught is? Previously, I told you from x1 to xn as the input, but always we will have a bias value. So that bias value is nothing but here, I'm considering the input signal for the bias as 1. I'm going to assign a weight of W naught to that. So this entire term, 1 multiplied by W naught, that W naught is called as bias. Okay. So I'm adding the bias also. Then I'm giving that as input to the sum function. Finally, this sum function is going to add everything and it is going to apply to the activation function. And this activation function is going to map your output to the required value. If your classification is binary classification problem, you will have two values at the output, either 0 or 1, or otherwise you can say -1 and 1. So that is the output here. So your perceptron is going to work like this only. Now, what is bias? So in the previous slide, W naught is the bias. So to introduce the bias in the model, what we have done is we have added one input node 1. Then we have associated some weight for that particular node. That weight is nothing but W naught. Okay, and why we need this bias is, let us consider one problem where I'm going to calculate the interest rate a person is going to pay based upon its salary and then expenditure. Okay, so if you consider, we have two features now. One feature is salary and the other feature is expenditure. That is nothing but X1 and then X2. Sometimes I will not have any salary, I will not have any expenditure also, but I need to calculate what is the interest rate. Okay, interest rate depends upon the loan amount I have taken. So I need to calculate what is the interest rate. So here, even though both the input features are not present, you need to calculate the interest rate. For that only, we are applying the bias. Okay, so if the inputs are zero, if all the inputs are zero, then the interest rate will not be zero. It doesn't mean that if you don't have salary or if you're not spending anything, your interest rate is zero. Definitely it will have some value. We have to predict that value. For that only, we have a default value called bias. And it is generally introduced in the model to find out one or more input node 1 with a weight W0. Okay, we have seen that we are going to add one more input node. Okay, and that node is 1 with weight W0. Now, let us understand with the example here. So first, I'm going to decide a loan approval problem. So for a loan approval problem, I'm going to consider what is the salary of the applicant and what is the salary of the spouse also if he is married. Okay, then I will decide based upon the salary of those two. I'll decide whether to approve a loan or not. If you see this, the features are two features we have. One is applicant salary and the other is salary of the spouse. And the class variable is the output variable. You have to predict whether you are going to approve the loan or not. So it is a binary classification problem. So for this, you can apply a single neuron, okay, for identifying this. Now, our neuron will take all these features as input and it will find out the decision. So to find out the decision, first of all, it has to calculate the salary. It has to apply some weight. For example, here I have two inputs, X1 and X2. For sanctioning the loan, I will not give equal importance to my salary as well as my spouse salary. Definitely, if I am taking the loan for my salary, I can give more weight. Okay, so that weight I am going to apply. So if I see this, I will take the applicant salary, I will apply the weight W1. For the spouse salary, I will apply the W2 as the weight. Then I will sum up these two. Then in the bank, they will set some threshold. If they set the threshold as if the salary is greater than 60,000, then they will approve the loan. Otherwise, they will not approve the loan. So that threshold only we are going to set in the activation function. So the activation function will take these two inputs. It will apply the weights to that, find the total sum. If the total sum is greater than threshold, loan will be approved. If it is not greater than 60,000, the loan will not be approved. So that is an example here.